You're watching Terrace Talks. Welcome back. I am Cass.
I'm Doug.
You are the Butler Brigade. We have another interesting conversation, as we like to say, inviting this beautiful person over to our house on our terrace, and then they can come over and just have a drink and have a conversation just as if we're just having a regular conversation. Unfiltered, unedited, unscripted. You get what you get. You might hear a dog, you might hear a doorbell, you might hear anything. That's what it's all about. It's about just normal conversation, as if you was on somebody's couch and on their terrace having a good time. So we like to definitely get started with Terrace Talks with having the person introduce themselves and tell us what neighborhood or area of Panama that they happen to live in. So the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Michelle. I moved here in July of 2024. I moved here with my husband and 4 kids, 3 school age and 1 in college. I live in Panama City, Panama, near the JW Marriott, with
Okay.
a wonderful view of the Pacific Ocean.
Love it. Okay. So I always like to get started with an icebreaker, Michelle. Then we're going to dive further into that intro and find out a little bit more about you because, baby, them 4 kids, we're familiar with that.
Yeah,
we're blended.
4D.
We're a blended family of 6, but we came with four children. So I pray for you on that one, especially when leaving the country. But we're going to start with an icebreaker. I like icebreakers. Are a good way to get started talking. Your icebreaker is going to be, what was your first car? Your make and model and what color?
Not excluding my parents' vehicle, it was a Ford Mustang. It was gray and burgundy.
Gray and burgundy, Ford Mustang. What year was it that your vehicle was, and what
Like
year
an
was it?
89 or something.
Oh, so you got a
89.
new car.
Yeah.
You had a new car.
No. Okay, don't forget I'm younger than y'all.
Okay.
So I think it was like an 85, and that was like in 1993.
Okay. Yeah.
Around 1993, I got the car, and it was like a 89 or 88, something like that.
Okay. So that was your first car.
Let's see. It was when I drove first was a 76 Cutlass Supreme, but the first one I bought completely new was a 1990 Plymouth Sundance.
Okay. So I'm kind of with Michelle. So obviously, when I first started driving, I drove my parents' car. That's what all teenagers learn to drive with. I drove my parents' car, but my first car, the car that was gifted to me, my grandfather. Keep in mind, I'm going to tell you this year. This is 1990, and my first car was a 1978 Dodge Diplomat. White in color, long front. The front was about 100 yards long itself. I learned how to whip in that bad boy. But yeah, 1978 Dodge Diplomat in 1990. But that was my baby. And my granddaddy got me that car. So there was no wrong with that car. So did your car have a name, Michelle? You remember?
No, I didn't have. It didn't have a name. I was so excited to have it, and then it was a problematic car. So it was just my problematic car.
You learned from it.
Yes.
Well, I was very simple, and this was not a racist thing, you guys. It wasn't, but I called my car, which was white, I just called it white gal. And there's why. There's a reason. I was called red gal. So my car was called white gal. And it had nothing to do with the fact, it was red gal and a white gal. But that was my car. That was her name. That was her name. All right, so now we got to know. I have steered away from sitting down and talking to you one-on-one too much because I knew we were going to do this series. No, I'm saying
Okay.
I wasn't running from you, but I wanted it to be a genuine conversation, and I didn't want to know the answers already. So
Okay.
that's why, in case you've always kind of been wondering, like, man, Cass don't really talk to me. I'm like, no, I'm running from you because I know if I sit down, I talk to everyone, as I'm sure the ladies told you last week that you introduced me to. They're probably like, dang, don't you ever let that woman come sit down and talk to us no more.
They said it was great information. Did
Did they really? So I
Yes.
love talking, in case anybody couldn't figure that out.
What?
I love talking. But I have avoided Michelle because I knew I wanted to get to know her personally and ask these type of questions. So Michelle, who was Michelle prior to coming to Panama? Whatever you would like to share in regards to your life. Where did you live? Where did you come from? Where did your family consist of? Anything you would like to share.
Okay, so I was in the military, and as most military families do, we moved very frequently. So for example, my oldest son, his college essay even talked about he went to 10 schools in the 14 years that he went to school. I was like, wait, is that right? And I started counting. I was like, oh, yeah, you did, didn't you? Some of them didn't count because it was like going from eighth grade to ninth grade. You switched schools, but we didn't move
Yeah.
that
So one,
year.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so we moved a lot and then I retired. And well, actually, before I retired, I said, I want to retire and I want to move abroad. Um, this ain't the place for us. And so, even though I'm from New Jersey,
Okay.
we were living in Tampa, Florida at the time, and that's where we moved from to come to Panama.
Okay. I have. So, were you aware of Panama prior to that move? Had you ever visited Panama? How did Panama come up in the conversation?
So, I had never been to Panama, but interesting backstory. My mother, or where was I? In the roughly 2004 or 5, my mother did what a lot of us here in Panama do, or in the States. She was like, why am I in cold New Jersey paying all this money for everything? She came on vacation to Panama because she traveled every twice a year to go on vacation
Okay.
and she loved it. And then she was like, would you mind if I sold all my stuff and moved to Panama? I was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
Wow.
I'm 30 some years old. You don't have to ask my permission to
Do
do
what
Oh.
you do.
anything. And she moved here, but I never came to visit because I would just see her whenever she was in the US or somewhere else. And then, so I never went to Panama. And then for us moving to Panama, we didn't choose. It wasn't like, oh, I have family from here, I'm Panamanian. We actually laid out the criteria, about 10 different criteria, what we wanted. For
Mhm.
example, I had kids, so availability of good schools, um, somewhat of a soft transition for them. Then the weather was warm weather, healthcare
Mhm.
availability, ability to get residency, stable government. So we just had like a checklist, and I
Mhm.
started researching different countries. We visited 4 of the 5 countries that I
Okay.
had on the list, and then we said, all right, Panama's the one that fits the best. And
Okay.
then from there, we started making plans.
Was it a family, all six of you decision, or was it a mom and dad decision? And hey, y'all are a package deal, so you all come with us.
Mom and dad decision, but that's every time we moved. So
Okay.
between the two of us, I think we've moved 8 times with our kids. So they're used to moving. It was kind of a shock for them when they heard Panama. They were like, Panama City, Florida? And we're like, no,
As
the
most people
country.
do. As most
They're like,
people
why are
do.
we leaving the country? And so that was actually the of all the moves, we get the normal complaints. What about my friends? They have to start a new school. What's the weather? That's normally for different states we've been to.
Okay.
And then my kids were like, why are we moving to a different country? Because they had the kind of indoctrinated of what America does is if you anywhere outside the country is not as good as America, and it's
Correct.
going to be either run by the cartel or it's going to be some rural village with famine, and we're going to have to like walk down
Uh-huh.
to the well to get water, and
Michelle,
you know
oh my gosh, have you been a part of our family
Yeah,
meetings?
yeah.
Yeah.
that's what the kids. So that was I think that was the very Panama was the first time for all the moves we did that we actually took our kids ahead of time before we moved because their anxiety level was pretty high.
Okay.
Um, and once they got here and they saw the schools and like my teenager, my oldest son, who was like, I'm going to college. Y'all do what you want. But my teenager who was in high school, she has very high goals,
Uh-huh.
where she went to school and what career. So when she saw that the schools were competitive, that English was an option, when she saw that the schools were, she actually thought like she would have to beat off goats and chickens at school. I was like, what?
Where do you think
No.
mom's taking you, baby? I'm not now at the time of transition, what was their age, uh, youngest to oldest age at that time?
When we actually like they started school here,
Hmm.
so literally they flew in like I think on a Saturday or a Friday, and they started school that Monday.
Wow.
Wow.
Um,
Straight to it.
so we came a month ahead of them. So we
Okay.
left them at the grandparents for a month, actually did the move without them, and then went and got them and we're
That
like,
was
all right,
smart.
school starts
Very smart.
That
Monday.
was smart. They came into a home and not an order of disarray. That was smart. Okay.
Right. So at that time they were 8, 10, 15, and 18.
Okay. Okay. So even
8,
the
10.
one that was
Yeah.
graduating, he or she, the 18-year-old did come with you all but then they were just going into college soon after that.
Yes, like he moved with us for
Okay.
all of 3 weeks, and then I flew to drop him off to move him in for his freshman year of
For
college.
freshman year of college. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, but we taught him on a visit here, and each kid had a calming effect. So, or like a remove the anxiety. Like my 16-year-old, when she saw the schools, where these are like, I don't know what she thought the kids in the school would be like, but when she saw like their normal schools with desks
Normal
and
space.
classrooms
Yeah.
and walls and no chickens,
And
she
no
was.
chickens, and she didn't have to walk up a hill both ways. And I
Oh,
know.
I mean, she even told me she bucked up a little bit. She was like, "If you take me there, I'm emancipate myself, or I'm gonna move in with Grammy."
I mean, this was
I was
not
like,
really. So this was not a happy. So that's a good question. This was not a happy. Woo-hoo-hoo, we're all going to Panama. There was some unhappiness amongst a couple of them that didn't really want to go.
until we made the visit.
Yeah.
So then she saw that schools had walls and like electricity. I don't know what she thought. I don't know what she had in her head. There was no chickens and goats to beat off in order to like do her
Get
homework.
the homework done. Yeah.
So she was good. My youngest, he was 8 at the time. We went to a grocery store to show them like there's food. We're not going to be like farming in the
And
back here.
farming off the grid.
So he was like, "There's Nutella and peanut butter here." He was like, "Oh, we can move."
Michelle, I'm laughing because for whatever reason, boys, that food is priority. I mean, well, our family of four consists of one son, and then our grandkid, we have one grandson. But that food is it. They can handle. They don't care about no air conditioning, no bed. They don't care. We're gonna have food.
Yes, and then he saw that he plays soccer in the U.S. or
Oh
football,
wow.
and so once he saw that that was the main sport here, and they had Nutella and peanut butter, he was good. He
Done.
didn't care where we went. He was like,
I'm good.
okay. And then she was 10 at the time. She's kind of the old soul. Like driving in, you see from the airport, you see the
Yes.
skyline, and
Yes.
then halfway through the visit, she was like, "We can move here." I was like, "What changed your mind?" She was like, "It has normal buildings."
Okay.
And she's like, "It has more Wi-Fi than I thought it would. It has less dirt, not as much green, but it'll work. So we can
She
do
had a
this."
list.
Huh?
No, she had a list. I mean, she literally was listing. Yeah, it's greenery. It's cool. I'm all right. Okay, I can do my
Yeah.
blocks. I'm
It
on.
had Wi-Fi, so I can
Yeah,
play my games.
yeah, I can do my. I said I can do.
She's a gamer, so she was able to play her game. So after that, the anxiety left. And then also they all know, and I do this for every move, not
Uh-huh.
even um, not specifically to the move of Panama. I say, hey, when we move, you all get something special for the country. So what do you want to do when we get there?
Okay.
And I mean, sometimes it's a new pair of shoes. Like my youngest, who's like, oh, since there's so much soccer, I want a new pair of trainers, a new pair of soccer boots. Okay,
Okay.
fine. I forgot what my 12, at this point, I forgot what my 12-year-old asked for. And then my 16-year-old, who's super smart and super manipulative in a good way, she was like, well, I just want to verify I can still go on college tours from Panama. So I think I need a trip to New York from Panama
Oh.
to go on a college visit. And that's my my thing
Yeah.
for moving to Panama.
Wow. Well, everybody got theirs. And what? Transitioning to that, are they able to still remain in Panama as under a visa status once they are no longer an 18-year-old dependent of yours, or is there a process with that? Okay.
So we're right now under the pensionado visa, the retirement visa. So for that, they're allowed to until they're age 18 or they get married. That's one of the people forget about that one. So if my 16-year-old decides to run off and get married, she's under a whole different, you go figure it out.
We
Or
ain't worried about that.
until they graduate college.
Or graduate college.
Um,
Okay.
that's specifically for the pensionado status, but we're thinking about, we met with a lawyer and we're going to do this later, switching to a different type of visa status.
Okay.
There's a couple different ones that allow my kids to become permanent residents and not temporary residents until they're 18 or 24, 22 to 24.
I do.
Because like my youngest, he moved here when he's 8. He'll live here more than half his life.
Yes, that's
And I
correct.
want to, at 18, to be like, dude, you got to go. And he'd be like, where?
Where?
Yeah.
Because it sounds like, as far as you and your husband, at least, this is it. You've made that choice. This is our forever home, at least our primary
Right.
forever home. This is where we're going to be. So in the
Right.
future, all 4 children, their families, their life, they can come visit you all back here.
Correct.
That's the answer. Okay.
Yes.
How often has the oldest that's in college, has he been able to come back and visit? Or is he living the college life like most people
A
are?
little, I mean, of both, but people ask, oh my gosh, how are you able him to be in college and you be so far away? I was like, well, first off, Panama's closer than Florida because
There
he's in
you
school
go.
in California. We lived in Florida. He'd picked the cool school in California. So actually, Panama is a shorter flight than Florida is.
In Florida is.
So
Exactly.
there's the first one. So what do you mean I went far away? We actually moved
Closer.
closer.
He actually got closer. Exactly.
And then when you ask about he's living the college life, it's similar if we were living in Florida or anything else. He comes for the main holidays. So Christmas break, he'll be here in a couple weeks. And then summer break, the only probably if we were in the States, we'd have flown him home for Thanksgiving. But that's more expensive to fly to Panama than some
Yes.
places in the States. So he just goes for Thanksgiving. The past 2 Thanksgivings, he's just gone to visit his grandparents.
Okay. Which are
And
in the vicinity of wherever he is in Florida.
no, in Chicago.
Oh,
But it's
Chicago.
just but there's like 5 direct flights back and forth from Chicago to where he's at in California. So it's just easier to manage for a 3.5 day trip.
Yeah.
Like, was it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a 4 day trip
4-day trip for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm.
to spend more time eating and relaxing than coming here. So plus he gets to see his grandparents each year, so that's good.
Oh, good. And he gets that one-on-one time. He don't have to share their attention with 3 other kids.
That's right.
And he loves
Right.
it. Believe me, he loves that.
I'm sure he does.
How are they adapting? Are they becoming bilingual? Are they becoming, especially the one that was the youngest? I mean, that youngest one, because their minds are sponges,
Pick it up.
they pick it up faster. I'm going to assume. I'm only assuming, but
Okay, so this is what I've learned. So everybody kept telling me that, oh, your kids will be bilingual before you know it. So I don't want to say it wasn't a mistake. It was not, it's lack of knowledge because I wanted my kids to have a soft, quote unquote, soft landing.
yes.
I chose schools that were in English. And so, but all the administrators at these schools were saying, "Oh, your kids will learn Spanish because the kids all speak Spanish. So at recess, the playground, the lunchroom, after school, they'll speak Spanish to your kids." Well, no, they don't because the kids are bilingual.
Kids are
Like, I
bilingual.
asked one of my
Right.
son's friends, I was like, "Why don't you speak Spanish to him?" And he looked at me because he doesn't understand Spanish, Miss Michelle.
And it makes more sense. It's like,
And I speak English.
he's like, why would I speak Spanish to someone who's not understanding me? This is over my head. And I thoroughly see what he's talking about. He's like, why would we struggle with me speaking Spanish and him going, ¿qué? When I can just speak English?
Because he speaks English. So like all the kids in the school are bilingual, and there's probably only about 10% that are not bilingual who either speak, or even if some of them are bilingual, they just don't happen to be Spanish. Like
Spanish,
one kid
right.
in my son's school speaks English and Russian. Another kid speaks English and Mandarin. But my son is the only non-bilingual kid in this school.
Now, this is one thing that you've shared with me and you don't have to get us down to a financial comma and a decimal, but I like people who are listening is to hear this, that are the next group of people, Michelle, that's relocating here. And I'm sure you probably either seen it or it's become aware to you. 5-6 years ago, the big group was the over 70 group, completely retired, living on whatever source of income. Let's go to Panama. The next group was about that 60 to 70, a little bit younger than the 70.
Right.
And then it was in the last 2 years, it's been Cedric and our age group. It's been that active 50 to 60-year-olds, active, empty nesters, living a life, young, let's go explore. And in the last year, profoundly,
Families.
100% is families. But Cedric and I, since that's not our area, we are a family, but we didn't relocate here with minions and munchins and little cutie pies. We love them, but we didn't relocate here with them. The one thing when they sit there and they start talking to us, I go, baby, y'all need to join the WhatsApp group because Michelle is on it. She's my resource. She's my knowledge. I go to her for everything about family. But there's one question that I have to put in this interview, Michelle, in a synopsis. what should people realistically be expecting to pay in a tuition or education environment from the low end to the high end per child, that they need to be aware of this, that some people are just not aware of this cost and it shocks them when they hear it on a low
Okay,
end
so
to a high end. Yes.
okay, so again, first and foremost, they have the Panamanian public school, which is free, but it's going to be all 100% Spanish. 100% Spanish. And
Understood.
actually, I'll do. I think y'all heard. I know you heard it, but I'll do the mnemonic or acronym. So claps. So imagine if you just clap 4 or 5 times. Claps. I'll be able to remember it. So the first one you have to look at, which will influence price, is C, which is the calendar. So I didn't know this. I saw it on some YouTube thing. Thank goodness. But the assumption is because Americans and Canadians all assume the world is on the same calendar
They
for
do.
schools
They do.
because we think the world revolves around
About
America.
us.
So there are what they call international schools here, which are on the calendar, normal calendar that we know in the U.S., August to June,
Okay.
August to May, August to June. So we know that. But any of those schools that are on that calendar are going to be roughly the 20 to 30, even 40 to 50% more expensive.
Okay.
If you're going to stick to the international or U.S. calendar, those schools are going to be more expensive. They also have the Panamanian calendar, which runs from March to December.
Okay. March.
And there's 2 ways to transition, and schools on the Panamanian calendar will explain to you how to transition.
Okay.
I won't get into that for time, but
Okay.
that's going to influence the price.
Okay.
Then the next one is the language is going to influence the price. You have schools that are completely in English, like my daughter's school. My daughters and my son go to separate schools. My daughter's school completely in English, and they have a Spanish class.
Okay.
And then you have some schools that are bilingual. They'll have like 2 or 3 subjects in Spanish, 2 or 3 subjects in English. That'll affect the price of the school. Bilingual schools are more expensive. Then you have schools that are full in Spanish. Those schools are cheaper.
Okay.
Then we'll at A for clap. So first was C was calendar, L was language, A is activities. These schools are like little campuses. So if they have a lot of activities, the cost of the school will tend to be higher, even though the activities are always extra. But if they have a football or soccer field, a swimming pool, a robotics lab, what else is there? A dance studio, taekwondo studio. If they have more amenities, like even if you rent, like you said, you did the video on renting, more amenities, the price is going to be higher. Whether you use them or higher. Whether you use them or not. It doesn't matter that
it's included. If it's offered at the school, it's a higher tuition, plus you have to pay for the activity.
Right, because it's more affluent if they have these things.
Yes.
Now, price, what you said, price. And I like to use the example analogy of the car analogy.
I like
so you can go the low end or the high end. So I used Honda, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Lamborghini.
Love it.
Okay, so again, Honda, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Lamborghini. Those are the kind of 4 categories I put you in. I put the schools in, whether they're on the Panamanian calendar or international calendar. And when you think of those cars, you kind of think of what a car note would be for those and a down payment. Because all the private schools here, when I say all, but I would say 95% of the private schools here require what they call, using the car analogy, a down payment, but they'll call it something different. They'll call it a capital donation, an initial deposit. They'll call it different things, but basically they're saying if your kid goes to school here, you're going to give us money, period. Like, write a check.
And it has nothing to do with tuition, you guys. It's a separate line item. Nothing to do with tuition.
Totally. Capital donation, like a donation, initial donation. This is your donation to the school for them saying, yes, you can come here. And you can get a Honda with sometimes, only $1,000 down and $300 a month. That's what, So some schools are like that, and the capital donation might be $500 or $600, and the tuition might be $250, $350. That's the Hondas. And again, like all 4 car examples, they'll get you from point A to B. All of them will.
I have a question. When you say your payment, is that per month, per semester, for school year?
Per child?
So the initial capital donation is going to be per kid.
Okay.
Some schools, like my daughter's school, I was like, do we get a multi-kid discount? The lady giggled at me. She laughed at me like that's a silly question.
And here's a silly question. If I enroll and they hate it, do I get my donation back? Look at Michelle's face.
Ooh.
A donation is just that you gave from your heart.
And it depends on the school. So I had a list of questions that I give people to ask that question because sometimes the capital donation, it depends on what it is. Like some schools let you pay it over 3 years.
So then you just don't pay the balance.
Okay.
Right. Some schools, because I had 2 kids, they let me pay it over 2 years for the 2 kids. So actually I paid one for one kid and then the second kid, depending on how you look at it. Some say they'll give you like 30 days.
Okay.
If your kid after 30 days, then you can get your money back. Some say, so that's a question you have to ask. The initial capital donation, if we have to withdraw, was there a time limit that we can get our money back? If my kid doesn't like the school, that's one of the questions you have to ask.
Yeah.
So both the schools my kids went to, they were like, once we say yes, you pay the money. You have to pay the money within 2 weeks or you lose the spot.
Wow. Okay, and the tuition, is that per semester, per grading period? How's that, or per year?
Okay, so the capital donation is usually due within either, like, some of the schools are like within 3 days they want the money. Some schools are usually give you like 12 business days. So that's the capital donation. Then the tuition is dependent on school and the person. So for example, I'll use my son's school.
Mm-hmm.
They give you an option of how to pay the tuition. If you pay the entire year up front, they give you a 10% discount.
Okay.
Or if you don't want to do that, then they give you, I think, a 3% discount if you do Panamanian bank transfer, and you can do that every month.
Okay.
If you pay online with the credit card, you can pay every month.
So to answer her question, tuition is annual. It's marched through that's what
yeah. Tuition is annual, but it depends on the school how they charge it.
That price she gave you was an annual price. And then I'm going to ask this one question. I'm going to come off of that for a little bit, but it was how I'm going to base it on the U.S. American child because that's where we're from. If they decide to attend school back in the U.S., how is the transferable graduation credits?
Simple.
Let's go with the fact that let's go with the fact they graduate high school here in Panama, but they now would like to go to a higher learning in the United States. How does that work?
Oh, that was the other thing. That was the thing my daughter was my teenage daughter high schooler was concerned about. It's very comparable. So a lot of the U.S. schools, European schools, Canadian schools, all want to boast about how they have a diverse population. And so having students, international students, is great. They actually told us at admissions when we went to New York on a college tour.
Oh.
Because that was my daughter. Don't forget that was my daughter's. Oh, my. Yeah.
But so your children are considered international students if they decide to return back to the U.S. Although they are U.S. citizens, when they return back, they're international students.
Yes. And so it's actually a perk to be in Panama, even though they just don't need a study visa to go to the U.S. But it all depends, and I learned a lot about this, not specifically to Panama, but just because I had one that just went to college and my one just went to school admissions, college admissions really focus on how well the student did based on the curriculum that's available at that school. So, like, for example, my daughter's school has the International Baccalaureate program.
Okay.
So she's in that program, but if she wasn't and she chose to just do a regular Panama high school diploma, then the guidance counselor would let's say she was trying to apply to NYU.
Okay.
The counselor would say, we had a higher level of academic curriculum, but this person either chose it or did not. So then the school would assess my daughter's application based on the curriculum that was available at the school and how well she did on that curriculum. So,
and I understand what you're saying. It's like if honors classes are available and your child does not enroll in honors classes, they do a general education diploma. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying they just did their standard classes. It's going to look at the fact, but they had AP classes and you didn't enroll in AP classes. So really this is where your grades are because you didn't enroll in AP. You might be down here. But
like you got a 4.0, but you took no AP classes, no honor classes. And you got a 4.0, a school is going to look at, but you got other ones available. But if your school doesn't, because a lot of international schools don't have IB program, AP program. They don't have that. They're
Mm-hmm.
just saying, so if you go to a different school that's different curriculum, different setup, if
Mm-hmm.
you chose the middle of the road and still got good grades, but someone else chose the highest academic process at that school, but their grade point's a little bit lower, that other person's getting a little bit more credit.
Okay.
So the same
Okay.
thing applies here in Panama. Is The same thing applies in Panama. They're competitive. Like actually, my daughter's also interested in University of Toronto, and there's several kids that got a scholarship to University of Toronto from Panama schools on the Panama calendar who are full Spanish programs. Or I think no, this one's like
Wow.
they were bilingual programs. So the
Bilingual.
schools here in Panama are very competitive.
I like hearing that.
I do have a question though. What about going the other way? When you bring your child to Panama and you say that, hey, they're going to the 10th grade, does the schools here test your kid to see if they're
10th
at
grade
the level?
compatible.
Yeah.
10th grade compatible.
So there's two parts. The schools themselves may do an assessment test, especially more at the elementary school and middle school level than the high schoolers. So like,
Okay.
for example, my kid was going in the fourth grade. I had to bring him in for testing. That's another thing that people, these schools do. They do psych testing, academic testing, cognitive testing, especially the more affluent schools.
All around.
It's all around.
So they did an academic and cognitive written test for my son to say, hey, okay, yes, he's meeting fourth grade level math and English. The Spanish part he didn't do so well, but they were like, obviously he doesn't speak Spanish, so okay. And like, yes, he's on the fourth grade level. So that's for the school. And I was actually impressed because they were like, we're going to take this test and go to each one of the teachers in that subject. They show him where he is in that
Where
level.
he is.
Oh wow.
Now this is a crazy question,
Okay.
Michelle. Hold up. Now I'm going back to the money. Was this test after you paid the money or before you paid the tuition?
Before.
Okay, because I'm like, what if he didn't do well on the test and
then
you
like,
paid
hey,
the
hey,
Oh well, you paid that money. Okay.
No, so some of these more affluent schools like the
Influential,
Mercedes and the Lamborghini schools,
Yes.
it's both ways. The parents want their kids to go to school there, but those schools also want a certain type of kid. So they're doing, like my daughters had to do interviews, one-on-one interviews. Me and my husband had to do an interview. Yes. My oldest daughter had to do a Spanish assessment class, like on Zoom. There was a Spanish teacher from the school, and they did an assessment to figure out what level.
For those that are watching this, Michelle, that are really trying to come to Panama or any other country, but we're speaking about Panama, and you have children, how far in it? There's already the visa application process. You know, the Cedric and our big push that we say you got to build your team, get that immigration attorney, and get your real estate advisor. Sound like for those coming with families, what would you realistically, because you had kids all across the board there, that you would say start that research before you really even look at a visa? Because the schools may not work for you as to your realization. And what if you invested in an immigration process and then you realize the schools don't work for you? I mean,
I think it depends on the family situation because
okay.
some people use the word homeschooling, some people use the word world schooling. So if you're doing homeschooling or world schooling, then you don't worry about the schools here. You ain't even thinking about the schools here. So that's, if you want to move here, and you're homeschooling, everything I said about schools doesn't matter to you.
Doesn't matter.
Some people do a little bit of research because also you have the Honda schools. Those Honda schools, you pay your $5,000 or $1,000, and all they do is when you fill out the paperwork, and your kid can go to school the next week, or next day.
Okay.
Like, I have one friend who moved here. She was so surprised at how easy the process was. She was like, I didn't even finish the paperwork, and my kid just started school. Like,
is there a vaccination process?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
The answer is very Panamanian.
Okay.
There is requirements.
It depends.
Well, no, there is a requirement for vaccinations. My daughter's school, they asked me, these are the required vaccinations. Did I do them? Yes or no?
Okay.
Yes. Nobody asked me for a form, proof.
Okay. Understand.
Nothing.
I get what you're saying.
Like, where's
Yes.
your vaccination shot? Your record?
No, like they didn't ask for shot records. They just asked the
It's
question,
the honor
yes.
system. Okay.
Or I wouldn't say necessarily honor system. The the path of less resistance.
Yes.
Okay.
Like we asked the question, they said yes. We don't have an expectation of them lying, but even if the parent didn't, there's no, hey, we can't help people
Recourse.
lie.
Are they
And then like
eligible
my
to? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Michelle.
within my son's school, they asked for the vaccination records. I
So
brought them in English, and the lady put it in a file and then put the file in the cabinet. I was like, nobody even looked to see if I had the right one.
are they eligible to go to higher education here in Panama if they decide to stay? And are they considered in state, as we would call it in the U.S.? Are they considered? Is there like
Yes, and then actually,
country? Okay.
universities here in Panama are free beyond just fees.
Wait, what?
Say it again, Michelle. I knew that, but I wanted you to say it.
Wait,
Go ahead and
what?
So
say
if you're a
it.
Panamanian citizen or a Panamanian resident, and
Panamanian resident.
and I don't think you have to graduate from a Panamanian high school.
No,
I'm
you
not
do
sure
not.
on that.
What?
You
The
honestly don't.
Panamanian schools here, universities are free. You do have to apply
You have to apply.
because they
Even
have different levels. You know, like they have the
here.
Harvards, then they have the state schools. Let's just say like that differentiations. So you have to apply, and based on your grades, you get in, but they're free.
I'm going to add this as a caveat because I also know this from the VA. For those of y'all that happen to have VA benefits, so you would like to go ahead and go to higher education, that also qualifies here in Panama. And yes, there is a Florida State school that is here in Panama that you can actually get an American higher education and get it for free or very, 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 very reduced here in Panama. I just happen to know that one, but I was going to let Michelle say it because we're talking to her.
And at Florida State University here in Panama actually just opened the dorms too.
Yeah.
So it's even more American-like because most Panamanian schools don't have
Dorm.
housing.
Don't have housing.
They live at home or live together with other students. But yes.
All right. So y'all, we know we can talk to Michelle for another hour. We're not going to talk to Michelle for another hour about parental stuff. This was not all. She's not just a mother. We realize that as parents, our identity sometimes hides behind parenthood. But this is also to get to know her. So we're getting ready to segue into the rapid fire questions there.
Okay.
Okay. Rapid fire. Here we go. Here go one. You get $500 just strictly for fun. You can't spend it on your kids. Nothing practical. You can't pay off a bill. What are you spending it on?
Paddleball.
Paddleball. What is paddleball?
It's like if tennis and racquetball had a baby.
Okay.
So in America, pickleball is becoming popular.
Pickleball is becoming popular. Yeah, you're correct.
Here in Panama, paddleball is popular. So that is my, they say I need to exercise and keep moving. So that's the way I keep exercising and moving.
Okay. That's what you do.
But you have to rent the courts to play, or if you're in a tournament, you have to pay an entry fee and things like that. Or you need a new racket. I think I would buy a new racket.
Okay.
And some outfits.
You better be able to buy a whole lot of rackets and outfits. For
$500, Cedric, that stuff is more expensive than what you think it is.
A racket goes anywhere from $100 to $500.
Stop.
There you go.
Oh.
And then the actual, the little tennis skirts and the outfit. You want to get the dry wicking, cooling ones, and
I know what you're talking about.
I mean, I usually find mine some at the thrift stores and things like that. But if you want to buy it new, again, it can range anywhere from $10 to $150 for a skirt.
Wow. Wow.
Or you can find it at the thrift store for me, like I did, like at $2.50.
$2.50. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, here we go. Rapid fire questions for parents. Here we go. What's your favorite family tradition that you all like to do?
Family favorite tradition, probably Christmas Eve, opening a present together. I think
I like that. Everybody gets to choose one, or you say together like there's one that's a family present?
No, the kids usually have several presents and they get to pick one.
They get to pick one. What parenting rule do you stick to no matter what?
Chores.
Do you pay for chores? Do they get an allowance for chores, or chores are just part of your responsibility of being in this house, being in this family?
We have chores as part of the team, but then they can do jobs that for money.
Oh.
So we have it's on the fridge and it's broken down by which kid has to do which chores. So we actually list all the chores out, and the kids actually kind of do a draft. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, I'll take the floors. I'll take the toilets. And we just go around robin who gets to pick what. Those are the chores. But then they get jobs like cleaning out the entire fridge or cleaning out my car or washing
I
down the
love this.
blinds. So there's extra things that they can do that are jobs that they can make money.
Okay.
But that's no matter what. And it's on Sunday. And if you
Uh-huh.
got something to do on Sunday, you either need to do it before you go or on Saturday or on Friday or something. But Sunday, they need to be done.
It need to be done. Everything that's clock out time. Time sheet submitted. Okay, I
Don't
understand.
touch a video game. Don't touch a phone. Don't naps over. You ain't hungry.
Okay,
Chores.
sure. I think I know this answer, but are you the lenient parent or the push or the rule strict parent?
It depends on what they're asking.
Okay.
It's gotta make sense.
Depends on
Okay.
what they're asking. You want to go, you want to skip school? No, everybody goes to school. If you
Okay.
think you sick, let the nurse tell you. I'm not a medical professional. Everybody goes to school. But my
Okay.
husband's like, oh, you have a tummy ache. You can stay home.
Mhm.
But then when it comes to anything school wise, I'm the very like activities. Oh, you want to do taekwondo and football
I like
and
that.
and oh, and then you want to do the school trip and you want to. I'm like, yes. And my husband's like, she doesn't need to go to Rome, Washington D.C., Chile, and wherever all these fancy schools are trying to send my kids. He's like, you can stay home.
You stay
So it
home.
depends on the question.
Okay. I can understand. I get that. What's the one snack in your house that must always be there every week when it's grocery run?
Well, that depends on the kid.
Okay.
But mostly granola bars, and Price Smart is actually out of them. So my kids are kind of like in withdrawal right now. They're like,
Really?
mommy, where are the granola bars? I'm like, I went to 3 different Price Smarts and they just
They're
out.
out. Which parent is more likely to forget the school event?
Oh, my husband.
I already
He
knew.
don't even know it exists.
He's like, what calendar?
Right, right.
I
I
know.
tell him 8 times that
Been there.
he's like, don't tell me until an hour before.
All right. I sent you the calendar invite, Cedric. Oh, that thing. Hold on, let me go. And then
I
all of
ain't
a
even looked
sudden
at it.
on my Google calendar, I started getting accepted, accepted. I'm like, oh, he's sitting there accepting them all now. They've been there for 10 weeks.
I don't even do that anymore. That
Yep,
don't even work.
it don't
Nope.
work.
That makes no. He'll accept it. It'll be in his calendar, and then I'm like, he don't look at the calendar, so it don't really do nothing for you.
It doesn't do anything. Oh, Lordy, I love it. If
It's
you
all
got,
on his calendar. Don't do nothing for him because he don't look at it. You gotta look at the calendar to know if something's there.
Look, I got to stick up for my man. We know something's happening when y'all pull out clothes. That's when we know, like, we don't forgot something.
all
That's
right,
what we know.
Michelle, if your family had a free day, no responsibilities, no school, no nothing, what would your family do together? Everybody.
Oh, we actually just did this last week.
Okay.
Get on a boat and go hang out in the ocean and the beach.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Which was your go-to beach? Which beach did y'all decide to go to? She was like, I don't know the name of it. I don't know. A beach
But
with
no,
sand
this
and
time it's not
water.
particular. It's not particular. Like this time we didn't plan it. It was like 6 families together. So
Oh,
the
I
other
love
lady
that.
planned it, and we went to Tobago, and then some other. It wasn't even a beach. It was just like a great swimming place,
Mm-hmm.
is what the captain said. So the families, they barbecued on the boat for us,
Oh, I love it.
swam in the ocean. We played music. We had a good time, and then we went to the beach. But actually, nobody went to the beach
Somebody went.
because we were anchored, and people did like the banana boat.
All
Some of the
the
people got off and went to it was Tobago Island. That's where they went.
Tobago. Okay, yeah, I know the ones. All of the toys. Yeah, everybody did the toys. They had fun.
Yeah. Hey, we on the
Right.
boat. Why we gotta go to the
Why we
beach
gotta go to
for?
the beach? Yeah. All right, this is the last question here. If you could go back to the week before you moved to Panama, what advice would you give yourself?
The week before we moved,
The week before you moved.
patience.
Ah,
Just well, I knew to have patience because I saw all the YouTube videos. Have patience, have patience, have patience. But I didn't know I had how much patience I need.
Michelle said, y'all didn't add a caliber. What was the gauge?
Ferrari
Because
patience.
I mean,
I
you
knew
didn't tell me.
people talked about the Panama time and the work level, like people just but like the internet guy, he was like,
Oh,
oh, they'll be there between 10 or 2
What
and
day?
he shows up 3 days later. Like
we were
I thought
there.
We were
maybe
there.
like I thought maybe 2 would mean like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. No, I didn't know it meant like
Any day of the week.
days later.
Any
Yes.
day of the week, ma'am.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Ooh, we know what you're talking
And
about.
isn't it
Or here's the one that I had to breathe a lot. So we actually brought a 40-foot container of our stuff.
okay?
We shipped the 40-foot container. It got to Panama, all the issues. There was a little greasing of some palms. They call it an extra custom fee, whatever. But then the guy wouldn't deliver our stuff
Oh.
because he said tomorrow's forecasted for rain. I was like, it's the rainy season.
It's the rainy
Every
season,
day is
baby.
forecasted for rain.
Am I
He was
never
like,
supposed to
Miss
get my stuff?
Michelle, I don't think we should get you deliver your stuff. Tomorrow's forecasted for rain. I'm like, deliver it. Some stuff might get wet. No, Miss Michelle, you don't want your stuff wet. And then the next day, Miss Michelle, it's forecasted for rain.
You
I
said
was
I
like, it's
know
the
this.
rainy season. It's July. Just deliver it. And then I had to get my husband on the phone with the deep voice that said, is there a problem with it getting delivered
Come
tomorrow?
on,
And
husband. Come
then
on, husband.
they were like, no, no, sir, Mr. Vincent, we'll have it there tomorrow. No mention of the rain anymore.
All of a
But that
sudden
was
it's gonna
like one
rain.
of
They need
the.
to hear that bass.
Did it rain?
Did it ever
Actually,
rain?
it did not. We had the whole day no rain, even though it was forecasted for rain.
Forecasted every day.
Every
And
day.
you know, I just learned this from the United States part. It's funny. I'm really just learned this like the last year. Okay,
I
so
tried to tell her years
so
ago.
Michelle, okay, so Cedric's background is air traffic control. Part of air traffic control is they have to basically be almost
A meteorologist.
meteorologists because it's part of
Right.
the job. But I just learned this in all my years. I'll be 54 next year. I'll be 54. We're actually May babies together. All right, so I just learned. You know, like when you see the prediction of the weather, 80% chance of rain, 60% chance of rain. You might know this, but I just learned this. They mean I always thought that meant in the course of 24 hours of the day, they are saying it's going to be 60% chance of rain in that 24 hours of the day. That's just
They
what
mean
I
in that
thought.
hour.
No, it ain't got nothing to do with none of that, girl. They mean in your forecasted area.
The viewing area.
The viewing area. So go back to when you actually watch local TV in Tampa.
Right.
You get forecasted weather, wherever that local news station happens to be, whatever that vicinity of that area is, they're saying 60% of that particular area is forecasted to get whatever said
Someone
weather
right.
is.
Yeah.
Whatever that weather is. Girl, I had it wrong for 53 years of my life. I never knew that.
Wait, but
thought
then
it meant-
what kind of math is that? So if 60% of the area is forecasted for rain, then there's 100% of 60%, 100% of the area.
That's
No,
exactly what it
somewhere there's 100% chance of rain in 60% of the area.
is. You almost have it.
It's almost that way.
Almost.
So
Go ahead, babe.
60% of the viewing area will experience some sort of rain.
That means
That's all it is.
40% won't.
Yeah.
40% won't. So
It's a
those
land
that,
mass, not a percentage of
it's not a
if gonna rain
percentage
or
of
not.
the. I always
But
thought
the percentage that's going to get, because I'm a numbers person, I did accounting the whole time. So 60% that's going to get that type of weather.
Weather.
What is the percentage of that 60% that's going to get it?
That's not
That's
what
the
they're
part
telling
you don't know. So
They're-
that's why that's the part they can't pinpoint it down to a street area. But that totally changes the whole dynamics of. I always thought I'm planning on calling going, oh, we have a 40% chance of rain today. It's going to rain. No,
Or it's not gonna rain.
40% of the viewing
Area.
area. That means 60% of us will never see rain. And I'm
Right.
going, damn, nabbit, I done thought this wrong my whole life. I never knew that.
I thought the same way.
I see.
And that's
Either
why-
way,
that's why
Panama got a
meteorologists
rainy
get it wrong.
season, and it's 100% chance of rain.
Yeah, in the Panama rainy season. I mean, it's tropical. But you come from Tampa, so you laugh at this. I know you're like, baby, you just got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
You can't
Michelle,
sit down.
this has been so enjoyable. I've learned so much about you. Thank you so much for sitting down and talking to us, especially those, that new group that you're already aware of that's ready to pack up and take the family and have a better and more beautiful life. Go ahead, baby.
Before she signs off, I know she's trying to wrap this up, but because you're a moderator, I have to ask you: have you had the unfortunate or fortunate example or situation where you had to let somebody know that, hey, your relocation plans here with your family is not realistic because of education or your lack of knowledge of the educational process here?
No, I mean, I would never phrase it that way.
Okay.
I tell them to have a budget
The budget is
And if you think because I've heard some of your videos
mm,
that and you get the same questions I get about what's the cost of living
what's
here.
the cost of living.
And I was like, depends on how you live.
It does though.
They hate that depend.
They hate the pens, but it really does.
So if you have a family plan and you're on that limited budget, the Panama schools are absolutely available, and you can live out in Don Bosco or Costa Verde and go to public schools. And yeah,
Obviously, you can do it because Panamanians do it every day.
If you can't speak Spanish, you can't do
So
it.
we're not going to say you
yes, you
can't do
can.
it. But yeah,
Yes, you can.
but you'll be
How
amazed
many
at how many
in
people will
America?
sit there and just
In
put their
America, how many kids show up not speaking a lick of English and they go right into schools
That's what I know she meant.
and they learn it? I wish I would have did that with my kids. I wish I would have put my two youngest kids straight up in 100% Spanish school for at least 1 or 2 years.
Yeah,
They would have cried, been upset. Their grades would have went down. But Harvard ain't looking at fourth grade report
that
cards.
was great. And I know
So
exactly what you mean, Michelle. I know you like Panamanians do it every day. Can you do it? You can do it. Is it probably the path of least resistance? I mean, it just depends on, I guess, which way you want to do it. But like Cedric just said, it just depends. I know people hate that. What's the lowest level that you would like to come down to, and the more economical level? I can't say you can't do it because people do it locally every day.
and one friend of mine, she put her kid in the Honda school. She was like, "Hey, this is my budget," and she lives in like a 1 bedroom and put her kid in the Honda school because that was her budget. So I never tell anybody, "No, you can't do it." Just you have to realistic expectations, and I tell them the price tags for some of these schools they're looking at, which the Lamborghinis. When I'm talking about $16,000 capital donation per kid,
Per kid. Nothing to do with
with
tuition.
$18,000 per year tuition.
Per year.
So if you got that money, then you can send your kids to that school, or you send them to the one with the capital donation of $600 and the monthly tuition is $250.
There you go.
It's better.
Better.
And you got Volkswagen and Mercedes schools in between. So I never tell them no. And then some people can't afford it and they just started homeschooling.
They do homeschooling. And that's a whole nother topic in itself because of the fact that a lot of people don't realize that the homeschool restrictions, if your child plan is to return back to a higher level of education in the United States, please know all the rules and regulations that there is to know about homeschooling. It's go ahead, Michelle. She's like, I want to
So
get
you asked a question, Cedric, and and then you asked two parts of it, and I didn't do the second part. The first part is the school does an assessment, but then there's also here the Ministry of Education here in Panama. It's called Maduca, and they do an evaluation of your child's grades. So you have to bring your child's report cards from the states. The school gets a copy, but you have to go to the Maduca and they look at it and they assess based on the child's previous courses and what the school says they've completed, and then they decide which grade level your kid should be in. And
Michelle.
then you have to bring that form to the school that your kid's in, and then they say, okay, yes, your kid can be in this grade.
So they're not official until it's from Maduka says
Is
it blesses you.
what's the realistic time period that you would suggest? And I know we're gonna wrap up here right now, but if the realistic time period that a parent should really expect from the time that they start the school process until a child should be in a classroom between testing and stamps and all this other stuff. And I know you can't can this be something that can be done a week before school start when you said school year starts in March? Can they come in the last weekend?
It depends on the school.
Okay.
It actually depends on the school. So I actually had that example. Like, so my two daughters went to one school and my son was waitlisted. And my husband promised me, he was like, you don't worry, Michelle. He's going to get in. They're going to call you. They're going to call us. They're going to call us. Don't worry. He'll get in. The two sisters, and then the amount of money we have to pay, they'll call us. They ain't never called us.
To this day.
Wow.
They ain't never called us.
You have to go on with your next plan for him, logically.
And there was no plan.
Oh,
Because my husband said, don't worry about it. We've been late listed before,
see, we can't listen to y'all. Y'all be messing us up.
Because I mean, logically.
And so literally, because we came a month before. So in July, we were here and they ain't never called. And I was like, school starts in a week.
Dad,
And I emailed the school. I'm like, is he off the wait list? Oh, we won't evaluate the wait list again until October, January. I don't know when he said it. I was like, our kid we got to find a school. So I literally, like, a WhatsApp group in our little neighborhood, I was like, anybody recommend schools? And they were like, oh, there's a school down the street. I drove down the street and I was like, can my kid go to school here? And they were like, well, you usually do a tour and evaluation, some paperwork. And
Like, baby, I ain't got time.
I was like, okay. And they told me all this stuff. I was like, okay. And I was like, so when's the tour and when's the paperwork? And so she emailed me the paperwork. It was like, I don't know, 30 pages worth of paperwork. And the tour, she was like, well, we don't usually do tours. I was like, school starts August 6th or something. She's like, okay, we'll do a tour for you. And we'll do you and your husband's interview at the
At
tour.
the tour. Okay.
Because, but she said our school's being under construction because they were adding like a pool or whatever, it doesn't matter. And then they were like, where's your kid? I was like, he's not here. They were like, well, we have to do
We got to do
the
one for
psych
him too.
exam, the at whatever. And I was like, he'll be here 2 days before school starts. They were like, okay, we'll do it the day. I was like, we'll do it the day he flies in. They were like, no, Miss Michelle, at least let him sleep. We'll do it the day after he flies in. I was like, okay.
Michelle's like, look here, I'm not doing this homeschooling thing. There will be no one at this house. There will be no one at this house. Everything is going to school.
And so they did the tour for my kid. They did the exam. They did the testing all in one day, what they normally don't do. And then at the end, they said, okay, you can go to school here, but you have to pay the fee today. I said, give me your bank account transfer number.
Because everybody going to school. I understand. I do. But
And so we did it in less than a week because we were flexible. The school was flexible. And actually the school didn't want him to start after the day of school starts. So some schools, and even like some of the lower end schools, the process that I explained that was expedited is the process.
It is the process. Right.
Like you show up, you pay your little $500, you fill out some paperwork, the kid can go to school the next day because they don't have psych exams and cognitive tests and they don't have all that. They're just more similar to like a public school. You fill out the form and get the every school here, except one, I've only saw one that doesn't have a uniform. All the schools, public, private, international, have a uniform.
Have a uniform. Which
Only
is not
one
part of
school.
the tuition. Not part of the tuition. And don't they all get out Fridays half a day? The majority. Not every, but the majority Fridays half a day.
I haven't met a school that doesn't get off half day Friday.
I was gonna say, but I hate saying all because baby.
We'll say the majority. Majority. Half day on Friday.
Half day
on Friday.
Yeah, half day.
Yes.
All right, Michelle, again, thank you so much. This could go on and on. And I know y'all are going to enjoy this one because, again, go ahead. Michelle's like, baby, I'm not done.
But this is one of the things that I spiraled on, and I want to help other parents with it.
Please.
Is when choosing a school and choosing where to live. And I spiraled for at least 3 months until my husband kind of helped me out. Because I was like, do I choose a school?
Okay.
And then choose where I live?
Okay.
Or do I choose where I live and then pick the best school around where I live?
Okay.
And I was like, well, which one do I do? And then from my other parents, we learned about the bus system. They have the bus system is not like in the United States. It's private. So if you move or wherever you go, you just tell the bus, this is my new address. So my husband was like, select the school.
Yes.
And then a 30-minute commute on the bus is the radius in which we'll live. One way. So that allowed, whether we picked the school in the city or a school in the suburbs, that allowed us to have the entire Panama City to live and each of the suburbs.
Okay.
So then that allowed my brain to calm down and say, I can pick the school I want.
Right.
Because 90% of where we live will be within that 30-minute radius
of
where the school would be.
Now, I want to make sure those that are listening hear what you're saying. You're not talking city bus. You're talking, if you've ever visited Panama, are you speaking in those smaller yellow buses? I think that says Colegio or something.
Colegio. It's just a school.
Those are private paid transportation buses. So children that are on those, think of it like Uber for children, I guess you would like to say, or ride share.
No, it's actually a little more coordinated than that. So the school, like for example, my son's school, they use Mismar as the bus company. So one bus company works with the whole school, but there's like 30 buses that go to each of the different neighborhoods all around Panama City and the suburbs. And so there's usually like 10 or 15 kids on the bus. And it's great because the buses here are not like the buses in the United States where you got a bus driver and it's a huge bus of like 30, 40 kids. There's usually a max of 10 or 15 kids and there's a bus driver and 1 or 2
Attendance
monitors on the
monitors.
bus that will
Uh-huh.
tell you exactly, we picked up your kid. They'll give you a live action, like tracking the bus all the way to the school.
Wow.
And then they'll confirm that your kids got to the school. Then when your kid leaves the school, they'll be like, the kid is on the school bus. And you can watch the video of the school. And then they'll be like, okay, we dropped your kid off at your house.
On all four, well, at that time we had children, but that's amazing.
Yeah,
I
so
love
they're
that.
pre-K all the way to so little kids are on this bus, and people are like, I can't put my little kid on the bus. I was like, it's different than the States. You're not
It's
just
different.
dropping some little 4-year off at the corner and tell them to catch the bus. No, every bus will pick them up directly from your home. Like we had that issue. It wasn't even an issue. It was a misunderstanding. They said the bus is coming to pick your kids up, and I was like, where? And they're like, at your house. I was like, no, I get that you have my address, but like,
Where's the
where?
stop?
Down the
Where's the
street, in
stop?
front of the
Yeah,
subdivision.
down the corner because you're thinking
Yeah.
bus
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
They're like,
We're gonna ring
Yeah.
your doorbell.
to your house.
Right, like they drove up into our driveway.
Yeah.
And
And
I know you say that jokingly, Michelle, but Cedric and I have been watching when kids get dropped off and picked up, even here at this building. And I've seen the attendants, the monitors, actually walk the child off the bus and hand them, put said hand in parents' hand. I'm like, you couldn't get that in the United States. And I knew what they were doing without even knowing the dynamics of having children. I knew that was an attendant that was bringing the child to said adult, nanny, parent, whomever, but they were dropping the hand off, putting the hand in person. I'm like, wow.
and then I had to give special permission to the attendants and the bus company that says my kid can walk into my house without seeing me
without them seeing me.
because they have a key or the fingerprint thing, so
Yes.
they can get into the door without me. But if I didn't give that permission, the bus would have stood there until I
And
opened the
waited.
door
It said,
and
I'm
looked at
here.
them, and then so I gave special permission for them to do that. But if not, that kid would stay on the bus until
So they
they
have.
saw a parent, a nanny, or something.
Quick question. I know we
I
keep
know. We
extending.
keep it standing. She's gonna be like, I gotta go, y'all.
Is that part of tuition?
Absolutely not.
Cedric keep trying to make this be a one pay and done. It's not a one pay.
Absolutely not.
Is lunch
So
a
you can
part of the
pay,
tuition? Is lunch a
huh?
part of the tuition? Lunch.
Depends on the school. Like certain schools, lunch is part of the tuition.
Okay.
Certain schools you pay, like in the U.S.,
Like in the
you pay
US.
a monthly fee. Some schools are a la carte,
Okay.
so you don't pay a monthly fee, but it depends on what the kid eats. Like if the kid
It's
got
just
an
depends on
empanada
what. Yeah.
and a steak, then that's what you pay. And
Okay.
then like my son's school, it's a monthly fee, but you're not allowed to bring food to school because the teacher said, or the principal, or the director, whatever it's called, said parents make bad choices.
Ooh.
So whether you want to eat
Ooh.
that
Ooh.
available or not, that's what you get. Because ain't no parents will sit there and give them. What was the one you said that like the Nutella and the
A peanut butter, yeah. Like we're not packing peanut butter and Nutella sandwiches every day,
They
or a
don't want
bag of
that.
processed chips, or whatever was left over for dinner. You just threw in the bag some
They're
granola
like,
bars.
yeah, we ain't doing all that.
No, but it's actually good. But theirs is like farm to table and all that stuff. So they actually salad bars, sushi bars, soup.
I
They
know
get
what you
rice
mean.
and noodles and they get to pick the meat and vegetables, and
They're good.
so it's very healthy.
Healthy.
So and plentiful. They just say you pay every month for this lunch. It's not a part of tuition, said. So let's just get that clear. Not a part of tuition. You pay the lunch, but you don't
I
have the
need a
option
break.
of not paying.
I need them to cut a break somewhere. Golly, man.
No, but some schools include, like one school we were considering that made this, it was the runner-up for the school we selected. Lunch was included, all electronics were included, and all school supplies were included in the tuition.
Okay.
Wait. So that means there's some schools where the electronics and stuff are not.
The school we selected, electronics were not included
Oh my God.
for middle school and high school. So my kids have to bring their own either tablet or
Or
laptop.
laptop.
At elementary school, it is included, but my son's school, they even included the backpack. They were like, you don't even bring your own backpack. Backpacks included,
See,
school supplies included, the electronics is included.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cedric over here
Um,
getting happy by that, not realizing, baby, it's still a line item that's in their tuition. Don't think you're not paying for it. You just don't have to go to the store and buy it.
But mentally, I feel like I'm not paying twice. He's not just,
You
and then
see,
here's the thing that I didn't even think about was like the uniforms. So you pay the uniforms, but then this school year I had to go buy like half new uniforms because the kids
that
grew.
they grow,
I was like,
kids
oh, the
grow.
uniforms are paid for. That's done. And then my kid, mommy, my shorts are too tight and small, and my shirt's little. I was like, oh, you grew, huh?
Yeah. Hey,
You grew, huh? That
It's
thing
like
that happens.
it's like the military uniform allotment. Okay, you had to spend a little bit.
Yeah. So,
it's all good.
but again, there's like questions they're going to ask: what's included in tuition, what's not included in tuition, what activities are included, what's not, what support are included if your kid doesn't speak Spanish. What's the tuition include? Was it electronics included or school supplies included? Like my
Mm-hmm.
daughter's school, I would say 90% of the school supply are included compared to the US. And the
Mm-hmm.
only things they ask to buy are like pens and pencils
It's
and a
stuff
couple of folders, less than $20 worth of supplies. Less than $20 worth of supplies compared to the US, where I had hundreds of dollars of supplies per kid that I had a list going down that I had to go to. So it all depends on the school,
and what they
and you
provide.
just have to ask those questions
Okay.
to be aware so you won't be surprised.
You guys, as y'all can see, Michelle's a wealth of knowledge. If you have enjoyed this conversation, because I know you have, we urge you, especially if you're coming to relocate to Panama. We're not always pushing our WhatsApp group, but when I say it's a wealth of knowledge in it, and she is one of them, Cedric and I we barely even go into the parent brigade because there is nothing we can answer for you. There are parents that are there, but the leader of them and the moderator, that's the go-to, because as she said, she came here with 4 children across the gamut of age brackets. That's Michelle. That's our beautiful moderator in the group, but we appreciate her because I tell you, she stays on top of it. She has a lot of these formats and forms already typed out. She'll send them to you. If you're considering Panama, please join the WhatsApp community. It's not the only one. There are numerous ones. That's one of the things you're going to learn by being here in Panama, that you're going to have to join WhatsApp communities. I'm sorry. You're just going to have to. That's just how we communicate. That's how everybody talks. By the time you're all said and done, you're going to be in about 6 to 8, 9 different WhatsApp communities. And
20.
20. And hey, I'm sorry, y'all. That's just the way that's how it is. You're going to have to pick and choose which ones you want and which ones you don't. But if you would like one that has a lot of different groups and subgroups, we do have one. And the Parent Brigade is one of our most popular ones because you do not realize how much you don't know, as Cedric say, until you realize what you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know because you're not talking to anyone, but it is not like the U.S. Please remove that from your mind. It's not like the U.S. Her children are here doing wonderful and prospering and developing. And I thank you so much for your time, Michelle. Thank you for our Terrace Talks. If y'all enjoyed this, give a thumbs up, join the WhatsApp community. And until next time, like, share, follow, comment.
She gonna let me do it.
I'm going to let you do it.
Subscribe.
Thank you, Michelle. We appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.